So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, today is the 7th of January 2021. First of all, Happy New Year. Jag, first of all, thanks for joining me here. We have a small interview. I've prepared a lot of questions for you. I hope you're doing well over there in Canada. And my name is Mission Network. I'm interviewing Jag Sidhu from he's core developer of Syscoin. And Jag, first of all, thanks for being here. And introduce yourself for the people that don't know you.
Well, Happy New Year's. I think we got a jam-packed session here, so it's started to be really good for the viewers.
Yeah, it's past one week now. Bitcoin hit the 38,000. I don't know. It's
39 now.
39,000. Yeah, so a lot of things are happening right now. The altcoins are. It's a bloodbath, actually. I don't know, but we will cover it. It will be really interesting to see what's your perspective regarding the altcoins and stuff like that. But let's first of all jump right into the first question. So the recap 2020, what happened with Syscoin the last year? What did you guys achieve?
Yeah, so we've had some realizations that regulations were coming up and coming hard. Just seeing the between the lines. We've had some talks. Like the thing is, we have Blockchain Foundry, which is an enterprise company that reaches out to enterprise corporations and wants to consult for them for blockchain related initiatives. Yeah. And the feedback we're getting is crypto volatility is a thing, and they may not be happy with something like that. So stable coins help there, but B, there's compliance that they need to fit into. And so the takeaway was, if you were able to do some type of compliance solution related to payments, like smart contracts are cool, but typical businesses have no real need for them. DeFi has its own, market tangent related to trading, but it's not what enterprises are looking at, right? Enterprises are looking to fit into it, but their bottom line is not affected by a DeFi play, because that's not how we're thinking about running businesses today, right? So, they're looking at, if we wanted to do payments or remittance or settle costs in a cheaper way, how can we do that? But we need to be compliant. We could do it with Bitcoin, but then the question is, how do we know that those coins, are safe? So there's different ways to do that. There's address monitoring and analysis on blockchain, which private blockchains have trouble giving that information to you. But then there's also per transaction compliance, which if a receiver is receiving money, he wants to know that the network has checked to make sure that money is going to be, not taken away from him because it's invalid or theft, sure. Right? And if the authorities step in, they can always go to the merchant and say, those coins have been stolen and we have to do something about it, or you're involved somehow, right? And so we wanted to avoid that situation for potential customers building on our platform by enabling a compliance feature on our platform. So we've been really busy with that sort of thing. The next release of 4.2 kind of migrates our asset protocol from the account-based infrastructure that Ethereum has to more of a UTXO that Bitcoin has. We're based off of Bitcoin, so it made sense to follow the Bitcoin model, and it just makes the whole protocol that we've developed a lot more streamlined and fit into the security and attack vectors that Bitcoin protects against. So moving our assets protocol over to UTXO, that execution model is unique across the industry, and we fit into a niche part of the payment circle of the blockchain space. And then compliance is an opt-in solution for people like stablecoins or loyalty platforms that need the compliance checks on top to make sure that transactions are valid before they enter the blockchain.
Sounds interesting. So the point is, you guys are protecting all the network, basically. You have enterprises, you have companies, you have, like normal people, average people that they want to use that. So everyone is protected. I'm assuming that, right? It is correct.
Yeah. It's like you would still be holding your own keys, so you're not giving up your keys. Yeah. But the spendability clause will include the having to make sure that some notary has ensured that KYC or limits have been checked. But it may not be limited to just KYC ML. Maybe, for example, you can also detect double spends in that way, and you can, if you're doing off-chain payments, you can do timestamping, stuff that's just not possible on Lightning Network. So it's a little bit more than just make sure things are compliant, but the main target use case is compliance.
Okay, interesting. The point is, you guys are launching Syscoin 4.2, yeah, right? And you've talked about now the network compliance, etc. So I've seen as well deterministic masternodes and stuff like that, because you guys have the old wallet. I mean, the old wallet interface, right? Like when Dash started. And when does this kick in? I mean, when do you guys launch Syscoin 4.2?
Yeah, so we've been kind of testing to make sure that integration, functional tests, continuous integration is all passing. Our internal tests are valid. Making sure Notary works, making sure the SDKs and JavaScript that are made kind of like the Web3 layer is working properly, and that is pretty much finalized now. So we're moving to a public version of the testnet, which essentially is just a migration of, we have to migrate the assets over to the new model and turn on the deterministic masternodes and the quorums, and just verify that it works. So typically we usually give a couple of weeks, make sure there's no bugs reported by the vast array of community testing, and then after move towards setting a date on making mainnet happen. So we're well aware of the timelines and the fact that Bitcoin is up and the altcoins are starting to see appetite, but we need to make sure that we're doing things properly. But we're at a really good spot right now.
That sounds interesting. So, and then we will expect in the next month the 4.2 platform. Nice. I'm looking forward to see it. Jack, the next question is the ZDAG technology, right? I assume you're working every day on the code from Syscoin. I'm seeing this on GitHub. So you're the creator of the ZDAG technology, and the point is, will ZDAG play a significant role in the next months and in the next years? What's your point of view over that?
Yeah, ZDAG is essentially, when we move to the UTXO model, the ZDAG protocol becomes really simple, because inherently the Bitcoin model already has a DAG infrastructure in the mempool. It orders transactions by fee rate and dependency. Yeah. So that's really all that's needed to make ZDAG work. The only other difference is we need to make sure that if you are double spending inputs, those are propagated across the network. And that's something Bitcoin doesn't do. And so in specific cases in Bitcoin, it won't propagate those double spends, those inputs that are already used. And therefore, merchants will not know that your money has been double spent. Because in Bitcoin, the philosophy is you always wait for confirmation, because there will always be ways to game mempool transactions. And that's a probabilistic trade-off. But if you make the dissemination of transactions fast enough, which we have validators to do that, the masternodes, you have relay networks and validators that are paid to be up and make sure that transactions are propagated in a timely way, and there's a double spend detection mechanism, you can make probabilistic trade-offs there for microtransactions. So if it's $1,000 then or above, you might want to wait, but something below, you might be okay having the 0.0001% chance that it might actually get caught on a double spend. In most of the cases, you usually get your money back, but in those cases, you do make that distinction. So that's where ZDAG fits in, and it fits right into the Bitcoin model, because we will be using the UTXO model with assets, so it's native and it's secure, and it's not like it's a whole new consensus system which requires auditing and specific security analysis around it. It fits right into what Bitcoin did.
Sounds good. So this ZDAG technology is specifically as well good for the merchant. As for example, I want to accept Syscoin in my online store or in my shop. So basically, it's okay. It's a good point, because someone transacts Syscoin and I will receive it in 1 second, for example, or instantly. Basically, is this accurate?
Yeah, it's as fast as the propagation happens, and then you wait maybe a couple seconds to make sure there's no double spends.
Yeah.
So similar to Visa, where you make a payment, it makes sure that you haven't done anything. It does KYC email checks on your account, make sure that you're not sending from anywhere else, and then it processes the transaction. So it's fairly instant. But Visa's infrastructure is billions of dollars, so they have the high throughput fiber networks connected globally, and that's, you know, and we get there in a different way, but more, I guess, securely, because we have meshes of distributed networks, which they wouldn't have. They have centralized servers. We have meshes of trustless networks where we can stand up our own fiber networks if we want to compete against that speed. But you also have the backbone of the trustless, decentralized version. So, you know, falling back to the secure layer is possible, or using the high throughput fiber network, and the payment itself is settled on the ledger, which is it means a lot more than just some company telling you that it's good or bad.
Sounds really interesting. Maybe in a few years we can spend Syscoin everywhere. This is the wish, the final wish of.
Well, the goal is to be the payments platform, right? The execution model of UTXO.
Yeah.
The Ethereum account model just can't compete against that, you know. And we'll go into what that means, but you know, the payment side of things, you're not going to get more efficient than what you're doing with UTXO. So for Bitcoin, there's a distinct issue, like with Lightning networks and Bitcoin. It is UTXO model, so it's efficient and it's cheap, but the Bitcoin blockchain itself doesn't have the bandwidth to support the like, as a court system, it can't support hearing all the cases if there are issues.
Yeah.
If there's a flood and loot attack that's been recently described by Aviv Zohar of Israel Technical University, Hebrew University, and he actually outlined an attack where no matter what, an attacker will always have more economic incentive to get money out by attacking the system than by being honest. And that is simply by flooding the mempool with cheap transactions, and then executing a Lightning Networks transaction attack such that the honest person has to go and use the mempool, but then he's priced out. And
like
so at
dust
that
attacks,
point,
right?
it's kind of like a dust attack with Lightning Networks. Flood and loot is what it is. You flood the Bitcoin network, and then you loot the Lightning network side, and that really is unavoidable because of the design. There's no consensus on the Lightning networks, but you can get fairly far by investigating, perhaps doing some clever math. So I think zero knowledge proofs is potentially a way to solve some of that. But and I'll discuss some of that in another question. And some of those attack vectors can be solved, but the way it's designed today, it won't work at scale for global population, and that's where, you know, Syscoin comes and it helps.
Nice. I'm looking forward to see the drastic changes in the next years. Let's move forward with the adoption, because we've spoke a little bit, or you spoke a little bit about the adoption with Ethereum and the huge problems what Ethereum actually is facing. And to get a mass adoptions, I mean, crypto transaction and bridging the coin should be a little bit easier. And what's your plan for the next years, for the next 1 or 2 years regarding that?
Yeah, so bridging is something that's up front and center in the Ethereum community right now. There's been protocols up by Vitalik to use BSV, or Bitcoin Cash, as a data availability layer for between Ethereum 1 and Ethereum 2, because data availability is the core of the problem in Ethereum. And there's layer 2 and sidechain solutions out there to solve the scalability problem and throughput, to enable transactions to happen elsewhere, but provide the proof on layer 1, again, to make your exit cases plausible, so you can always move off of those sidechains. And there's bridges like ours that are two-way, which kind of glue both the blockchains together in a way. The expressiveness of Ethereum allows you to integrate Syscoin into it, and then on the Syscoin side, you make custom logic or contract logic to make sure that it understands Ethereum as well. So that's really unique, and there's nothing really out there like that. And that opens kind of a whole new paradigm of thinking about interoperability, because anything that Ethereum can do, you can bring it over to Syscoin, and it's glued together. instead of thought of as a side chain and exit clause. It's more of, okay, well, I'm moving some value over and it's my new home, but I can always move it back at any time without worrying about exit conditions or anything like that. It's it's as long as you trust the security of the blockchain itself, the Satoshi proof of work, the Nakamoto consensus model, then it's secure.
Yeah, definitely. I've checked the Syscoin bridge once, and it's absolutely amazing because it's fully decentralized. I mean, nobody can stop you to transfer one asset to another one, to another blockchain. I'm sorry. The point is, how do you imagine the future? I mean, of the Syscoin bridge? It will be like connected to several blockchains, or do you say, okay, we connect only to 2 or 3 big blockchains and the rest will come later on, or will it have like some sort of one-click bridging? It's really interesting to see your point of view over there.